All right, y'all, big nebulous goals don't work, systems work. In this video, we're going to explain how to create that system from the ground up, starting with fundamental understandings of the raw materials. These would be the primitives, the data structures, so how to bucket the raw materials into tools you can use, the algorithms, a handful of workflows, common use cases, and how to move them from your head to actually creating stuff, and finally how to pick the right platform based on what type of thinker you are. Let's dive into what a productivity system is and how to create your own to actually get a lot done this year. Productivity is not what we've been sold. To be productive, you must produce, and someone must have consumed. That means you've only been productive after you've given someone something. You've only been productive after you've given someone something. And I want to double click on this because this is totally opposite from what all the productivity gurus are teaching right now. In fact, these are quotes from what they're saying productivity is from best-selling productivity books. And I think if you've consumed this stuff, you've been led astray, as I had for many years. This isn't productivity, that's pleasure. Pleasure is based on a feeling of the individual. I'm the authority on my feelings. Only I can say whether I was productive or not. That's the problem, because productivity is not a feeling. Productivity is a byproduct of value, and value is determined by anyone other than you. This is productivity. Notice how nothing on this screen or these images are possible by themselves. People have to give you stars, follows, money, likes. It's about them. So you can't say you were productive if you didn't help others. Okay, so we're making stuff to help other people, but like, what do we make it out of? That's where the primitives come in. The primitives are the raw materials we've each been gifted every day. They are time, energy, and focus. We each have those three things to varying degrees, and we use those to create and offer product or service or info that we can give to other people. Along the way, it helps to bucket time, energy, and focus into different things. I'm going to refer to those as data structures. A data structure for your time, energy, and focus in this video will be a note, a task, or an event. Notes help us get things out of our head, and there's a lot of freedom here. They don't need to be written in full sentences. They don't need to be all in one place. They don't need to be kept around forever. They don't need to be tagged, and they don't need to be nicely visualized in a graph database. Remember, the job of the note is to make it easier for you to act. They need two things: intent for you to help someone. You might have gotten deceived into thinking that notes by themselves are valuable. They're not. And before you point out that people paid millions for Da Vinci's notebooks or Ben Franklin stuff, remember, people only cared about Da Vinci and Ben Franklin because one of them made the Mona Lisa and one of them made the Constitution, both of which are helping people to this day. If those guys didn't produce anything, no one would care about their notebooks. Because the job of notes is to generate tasks. I'll show you some examples from a student. She's taking in the content from the book, the play. She's writing notes, and then her notes are moving her towards tasks. Check book for a quote, search more about this. She knows she's going to create something that is going to help someone, namely like a book report that'll make her teacher like have some insight about this play. And another good example would be Sam Altman. Here's a quick clip.
I'm a huge note taker.
Oh, tell me about that.
There's all these fancy notebooks in the world.
Yeah.
You don't want those. You definitely want a spiral notebook because you can rip pages out.
But notice how his notes lead organically into tasks that he doesn't even care about them or keep them around. The only thing that matters is action and how you act. And the notes are just one helpful piece to move from idea, from attention, from focus towards action. The one final thing about tool selection here, whatever you pick, make sure you can do it quickly. It flows nicely from the note to the task, whether that's a journal, keyboard, note app on your phone. Just like write stuff down and make sure it flows into tasks. Speaking of tasks, what's the job of a task? How do they help us help others? What we're really doing when we're productive is we're creating something helpful and letting others access it. We need a way to give our products and services to others. It's not enough to write an article, create an app, and leave them on your hard drive. We need to let others consume it And we do that with an offer. When you publish a blog post, you're offering your thoughts to readers on the internet. When you launch an app, you're offering your code to users. When you're giving a presentation, you're offering your point of view. When you're inviting someone to an event, you're offering access to your network in some location. So tasks turn notes into something, and then an offer is how we make that something accessible to other people. So with that in mind, what do good tasks have? They have three things: subtasks, and the subtask can either be done or not done. Similar to notes, they have stages: to do, doing, done. Done means I made a thing and offered it to someone. It's not done if you didn't offer it to anyone. Finally, they have a time constraint. Today, this week, this month, you have to block it at some point. That sounds simple, but there's a lot of ways this can go wrong. The first failure mode with tasks is just not prioritizing them. This is how you get this massive 100-point to-do list, and then people look at it and they're like, I'll just pick this and this and this because it feels good. But now we're getting into the pleasure trap instead of actually producing something. The second thing is not connecting tasks to a recurring schedule. This leads people to work hard without thinking about how much raw material of time to put into it, which results in perfectionism. And you can only be a perfectionist if you don't time cap your creation before you make an offer. The better way is to predetermine how long you'll work on something before you offer it. In other words, commit to a publishing schedule. Newsletter every week, podcast every Tuesday, Thursday, app update at the end of every month. And the third pitfall is not having a metric to assess whether you're picking the right tasks. You could be great at putting your head in the sand and just working like a dog, but maybe you're working on the wrong thing. You need some kind of metric that makes it less about like the inputs you're putting in time and more about the output, the helpfulness, the real productivity of what you're creating. So revenue is best, but that's not always possible or like super clear. So some other good metrics would be traffic, followers, stars, shares, reposts. If all this stuff is like flat for a long time, then you know you're not being helpful with your tasks, which means you need to just get better at what you're creating, or what you're creating is good. It's just people don't want it. And so you should just get good at creating something people want. Notes help us create tasks, and tasks help us create offers where we offer a product or a service. And then now the most neglected data structure, events. The job of an event is to protect our time, focus, or energy for our tasks. They're the only defensive data structure here. Our events just protect time so we can do those other things. In theory, if your offense is good enough, you don't need a good defense. But if you have people trying to grab your time last minute to sync on a project, if you're trying to have someone find you over coffee to catch up, if you have a bunch of memes in the group chat, a defensive way to say no is helpful. In essence, what I'm advocating for is time blocking. I'm trying to stay away from idolizing that technique as if it's a virtue or as if it's the point, like in and of itself, because the goal isn't to have a full calendar and feel superior only to burn out after 2 weeks. The goal is to help people by protecting the time you need to create. Not time blocking is one failure mode. The second is time blocking too much. A time block has 3 dimensions of structure: start time, end time, and then task. Preserving those requires a level of execution that's basically a performance. Just like how a quarterback has to run the play exactly when he says hut, just like how a professor has to deliver the outline at the top of the hour, performances demand energy, and we can build our energy and stamina, focus, and lock in, but it's intimidating to perform all day, and that's why people shy away from time blocking. Time block your important tasks, the tasks that really help you create, perform, lock in, and then recover. As you do that more, you'll build up your stamina and can do that for longer. We've thought about all this when we were making Compass Calendar. This is an app that I created that helps people manage their time with their events and their tasks at one place. You can organize them in a this week list, in a month list. You can drag them over when it's time, you can send them back. We're advertising this for software engineers because we went really hard on the keyboard shortcuts and the techie vibe. We also open sourced all the code. However, anyone can use it. We don't check for your engineering card. After this video, you can head over to Compass Calendar. If you decide to use it to implement your system, in the next section, we're going to talk about exactly how to create a system that is yours, that'll feel really good. Okay, algorithm time. First, capturing. There are a few variations. This is a GTD workflow. This is just writing stuff in a notebook. You can capture things in your Google Calendar. I know a guy who puts everything on his calendar and then he deletes it as days go by. He's insane, but it works. Next, algorithm is categorizing. Coders will appreciate this one. The stuff on the right is nicely categorized between features and tests and refactors, which are just types of activities you do with code. The stuff on the left is uncategorized, and it's just harder to understand what the heck is going on. This is where a tag comes in, add a type or scope as you're capturing it. It'll help. You can do this digitally. On the right, I have in my Notion 2 columns with a little legend where I just have little symbols that mean something to me. On the left, we have a bullet journal, signifiers. You can make your own categories that make sense to you. Next algorithm is pruning. As you get good at taking notes, as you get really good at creating subtasks and tasks, you're going to have a lot of that stuff. Having a way to get rid of things is important. I recommend doing this regularly. So I schedule a weekly time block where I just look through my stuff and I'm like, do I still need to do that? Is this still important? And if no, I cancel the recurring events, I delete the meeting, I cross out the stuff I don't need to do. But for now, we're moving on to customizing. It's the beginning of the year and this person's like, I want to make content. Like, how does that look? How could I structure it? They create a high-level calendar here with events and things they need to do. You can see the melding of notes, tasks, and events all on 2 pages. Beautiful. Here's another customization visual. This comes from Cal Newport. He has his time blocks this way. On the left, his plan for the day. And then on the right, this is his revised plan. So he will say, okay, this is my crucial tasks, his performance here. And then he's like, okay, I had to switch some things up. This didn't get planned and I had to move the task down. So it's his way of solving the problem of time blocking being too rigid. You can see how he's prioritizing and making time for a performance. Here we have a semi-freeform list of things for July. We have tasks. They're not prioritized, but roughly time blocked. On the right section, they move some things over based on when they have to get done. This is probably done at the beginning of the month, and then as we got more clear, they're like, okay, I have to do this, and this can wait. This can move to the end of the week. We're slowly getting closer to having that performance block when you have to finish the taxes or not. This is really interesting. We have a daily slot, a daily note, and signifiers. This is like a task to do. The circle is an event, so it's kind of just like reporting. It's like note-taking. We're annotating by the exact minute here, and then the equal sign is like an emotion. This is great for someone who just needs to get a little more in touch with themselves and figure out why they're feeling all off. You can see how the emotions are kind of flowing throughout the day and processing is happening. So I'm big on getting stuff done and being productive, but these principles can also help you understand yourself better day to day. Finally, the programs. This is based on what type of archetype you are. If you want to go all analog, this is how it could look for you. If this is you and you're like, yes, I'm ready to try this out, my takeaway for you is this video here. It's a 10-minute setup guide on bullet journaling. Bullet journaling has a lot of the mini problems already solved, and you can go really deep in terms of courses and certification. There's an official book. There's a whole community. I've done all those things, and I'm just reducing it to the basics so you can get started in that video. And then as you go, if it's working for you, you can like dig in more. If you're all digital, you're like, I need my screens. I don't need to write anything down with a pen and paper. I recommend the second brain method. The takeaway for this one is to just click the link in the description, which is a summary of second brain ideas, which really you can just look at this and like figure it out. Do not do the whole course or buy the whole book until you've tried this out a little bit and know that like, yeah, this is for sure what I want to do and what works for me. For the hybrid people, pick the tool that is most comforting to you. This tool is your principal tool, also known as a router. And from there, it's going to direct traffic to other places depending on what needs to happen next. In this example, I need a calendar, a notes app, my Notion, but I really like the journal. I want things to flow through the journal first. If I write about it and I confirm I want a coffee with my buddy, then I'll schedule it in the calendar. Once it's in the journal and I confirm I want to write a blog about a tale of two cities, then it goes to the notes app. It doesn't have to be the journal that's the router. If you love your calendar, the calendar can go here. That was the example of my buddy I had. Everything flows through his calendar. If you want to just have everything in Apple Notes, that phone note is open 24/7. You just write things, and then from that note, you can move it to a notebook, an email, etc. That was a deep dive on productivity. If you learned something, subscribe. Thank you for your time. Good luck out there.